Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying Coolship Bloodbath. It is a farmhouse ale with coffee and beets from Jester King out of Austin, Texas. Thanks for joining us.
Coolship Bloodbath, wild in the glass, ruby red thunder with a slow burn past, tart as a one and smooth as a sin, one deep swallow when the night rushes in, raise up your bottles, let the...
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. I got Jay, I got Andy in the attic, I'm Ben. What are we drinking today?
It's called Coolship Bloodbath. It sounds nasty. But
Jay.
Because Ben got it, we're going to drink it.
You know, as we kind of talked about, there may be some retribution here because you are blaming me for making you drink this. So I'm drinking out of my Fallout glass.
I don't think this was going to be red.
We both did. Well, we both were red, I'm assuming.
Although,
I've never had a beer with beets, so that's why I got this one. But it does have a little darker hue.
yeah, it's almost orange.
Yeah. Here we go.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
It's like a
There's
farmhouse.
some unique things to this, and I'll get to it. It is a farmhouse ale. Coolship Bloodbath is 5.5%. It's brewed with beets, and making the Coolship look like a bloodbath after 2 months of fermenting and then maturing in foeder, Foudre, the big fat barrel, yeah. And then they add Ethiopian Banco Taratu coffee, which provides notes of strawberry, blueberry, and lime. They get that coffee from Figure 8 coffee roasters. And this is brewed on Doom Forge Day in January 2024, which is Doom Forge Day is Jester King's heavy metal themed event. Bands, food, stuff like that. Just thought it very interesting. A farmhouse ale with coffee, and of course a beer with beets,
That's why I got it.
It's very
different,
unique.
I wasn't singling Jay out for any particular reason, despite what he thinks. I mean,
this is our second?
Yeah, from Jester King.
We did, was it Noble King?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one with the lion on the front?
Yeah,
the green can.
It's a green can with the crown.
Yeah. Not just Noble King, something like that. Yeah, I'm getting the king, and I'll just continue. Jester King Brewery out of Austin, Texas, is a microbrewery founded in 2010. Specifically a farmhouse-style brewery specializing in beer fermented with wild yeast on a 40-acre ranch outside of Austin. It's named after the character of the fool from Shakespeare's King Lear, symbolizing the playful, experimental, and artistic spirit in their brewing process.
Poured the last of it in there.
Oh, it's kind of reddish now.
Turned beet.
Yeah, maybe it's sediments at the bottom. Maybe stir it up. The wise fool who speaks truth to power. Excuse me. Did he freeze? Did the coffee and beets do that to him?
It did it. Yep. Stopped him up.
It uses local ingredients, wild yeast, bacteria cultures captured from the land, and typically do long maturation in their oak photos. They also won a lawsuit in 2011 against the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission because all beers over 4% had to be labeled ale, and it limited how the breweries could sell and describe their products. So they got that overturned. Good for them. That's it.
All right. Anybody had this one?
God, no.
All right, Jay. You've been very vocal about this beer so far.
You know, it's not bad.
So this is all show. That's what you're saying.
You laugh. I mean, if I go to a restaurant, I'm not going to order beets, but have I eaten beets? Sometimes you get those on tasting menus. They'll have little things that they do that are funky with beets or beet salads or this or that. And they're not horrible to me. I wouldn't grow them. I wouldn't eat them normally. But the flavor doesn't bother me. To me, it's just more like your traditional farmhouse. It's got a little bit of that flavor maybe you could get from the beets in there. I definitely don't get any of the coffee. Maybe it's some of my taste buds are numb, as you would like to say, Ben, I guess. But there's not much coffee to me in this, which would make it a killer. It's like a typical Jester King beer to me. That good farmhouse with the open fermentation. I'm gonna give it probably a 7. It's all right. I don't know that I drink it again, but if you hand it to me, I might have it.
All right, I got a whole case of them for you coming your way.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Andy, what do you think?
It's tart. Definitely tart. Very, I guess, a little dry on the back end. Aromatic, airy. You get a little of that. I mean, I haven't had just a beet to taste a beet, so I can't remember exactly what they taste like a raw beet or just a cooked beet, whatever. But I get the tasting notes that they described. The Ethiopian Banca Taratu coffee, the lime especially gets in. Maybe a little the strawberry, blueberry, but definitely lime. I think that's what creates that tartness. It is 100% farmhouse. That's unmistakable. That funky yeast, almost perfumey, and not bad. I mean, I think we liked the Noble King, and I've had other Jester Kings, but this one, I was hoping for more out of it. I'll give it a 6.5, just because the beets and the coffee. I was like, ooh, that's going to be unique out of a farmhouse, a coffee. Nah.
Do you get any coffee?
Not a thing.
Yeah.
So 6.5.
Yeah. So obviously I grabbed this one just because it was unique. When you start looking at it and think about, like you said, a farmhouse ale or anything with beets and coffee. I mean, that doesn't sound like anything would go together. I mean, for me, really, I don't get really either out of the beer. So it's really interesting because apparently I just connected to my wife's phone or something because I'm now can't hear you guys. I can hear whatever she's watching. And it's not anything to do with beer review. But
It's appropriate.
I mean, you're talking, I can't hear you. I can only hear a TV show. But anyway, the really interesting thing here is, again, you beets and coffee. I don't get either one of those out of this. It just tastes more like an off-the-shelf farmhouse ale to me. It, I mean, there's no point in me doing that. The other thing about Jester King, though, on the Noble King that we had, and we had another beer like this recently with the open fermentation, it got a very grassy, earthy beer to me. This is not that way. So I think I actually kind of like this one. If I take this one at what it's advertised, which is beets and coffee, I don't think it matches up necessarily, personally. But if it's just a farmhouse ale, that has some fruity notes to it, and I think it's I actually like the beer itself. So I may dock it a half a point for the advertising and kind of what I expect it to be. But all in all, it's one I would get again and drink. I think it's good. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. And I'm gonna fix my ear things so I can hear you guys. Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica. That is a 7.5 for the Jester King Coolship Bloodbath. Definitely one. If you've had, let us know. If you haven't had it and you find it, do not expect coffee. I don't know that any of us got coffee. Even Jay, the coffee sensitive one, you didn't really get coffee out of it.
No.
Yeah. So, but definitely interesting beer. Worth a drink if you're watching this show and you come across it. I think it's worth grabbing. So be sure to check that out. Leave us a comment. Hop on into our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. It's a chat room. You can talk with the three of us others that joined us. We got other links down below, Hopped Up Beer Review merch. And also be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. We would definitely appreciate that. And corporate would get off of our backs maybe for a few days. So with that, for Andy and the Attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Coolship Bloodbath, wild in the glass, ruby red thunder with a slow burn past, tart as a one and smooth as a sin, one deep swallow when the night rushes in, raise up your bottles, let the